hours a day. Back still hurts. 3 hours a day. And then one night, I was like, man, fuck this. I'm going to meditate 8 hours. I meditate throughout the night. Just this one little fucking om. Next day, I sneezed, had a back episode.
You sneezed and then had
a
what?
back episode.
Back episode. How bad is that next day when you're like, all right, that's not it.
That ain't it.
That ain't it.
That ain't it, bro.
Gotta go to the
ain't
next
gonna work.
method.
It ain't got
Next
nothing to do
system.
with. But I did enjoy. So I still meditate a little bit, but I do it when I walk. Because me and Nola, we walk about 20 miles a week. So
Wow.
I like to get my walk. Sometimes we'll go quiet for like miles. And
What do you mean by that?
Like we won't talk for like 3 or 4.
Okay.
We'll do 3 8-mile walks. But Mondays and Wednesdays we'll do 2 8s at 16, and then we'll get a little 4 in. But during that 8-mile walk, it takes 2.5 hours. There'll be time when we don't talk because I'm like, bro, I'm fucking coding. I'm on the outside of my feet, cycle after cycle after cycle. I don't have to hear, and you need to work on your shit too. His right hip don't fucking work.
No.
Yeah, I've been telling him.
Yeah, he don't listen.
Yeah, he don't listen.
No, fuck.
So as long as he got some hot chicks around, bro, he don't give a shit about nothing. So
He gets distracted easily.
but that's if you're thinking about one thing
Yeah.
for an hour, that's meditation. It doesn't matter if it's foot strike, a sound, a spot on the wall. It's all meditation. So that's kind of like my meditation. So I had the ground guys, all the great running coaches around the world. I studied all their books. Then, when I left Pete in 2009, I started studying all his competitors. I call them competitors, but Gray Cook. I studied Gray Cook FMS screen for like 6 months. I'm reading this fucking 400.
These guys know that.
They know that?
No, they know FMS.
I'm reading this 400.
It's all over football.
I'm reading this 400-page book, and in the middle of it, he's doing something stupid with kettlebells. I said, what the fuck's he doing? Putting a kettle? What? And then all of a sudden, he says, I just want everybody to know I'm getting shoulder surgery. I'm like, he's out.
That's all it took.
Bro, you having surgery? You the fucking FMS guy? Are you serious right now?
Right.
I mean, aren't we supposed to be bulletproof?
Fundamental movements.
Yeah, and fundamental movements, great.
There were some crazy drills.
I got to tell you, crazy shit.
There's like this core bracing drill where you try to like lift the same side.
FMS screening.
Yeah.
We always did that.
Overhead squat. Step over that. Band.
That's so easy when you go to. It's like, up. What do you want me to do?
bridge.
It's easy.
Yeah, there was.
No, you step over the string band.
Yes.
One foot, you touch the heel back.
Yeah.
You lay, or you go on the thing with the pole behind your back, and you like do a one-legged
Yeah, why do you need a pole?
Which was
behind
literally
your
the
back?
hardest thing ever
Midline
to do.
stabilization.
You're literally on a beam on top of like,
Bro,
it's not good.
now, Trey.
Now, I look forward to that every
Trey.
year. Like, I know I got to do the one-legged squat. Like, I'm not even worried about conditioning. I'm just
Trey.
worried about that.
Could you imagine? I mean, how? Now, let me ask y'all this, because y'all are the fucking super athletes. I'm just a fucking hack guy that ruined his back and trying to figure out the math. How do y'all let this thing go on year after year after year where you're doing something like a circus act? Every once in a while, don't you have to look around and say, what the fuck does this have to do with playing football?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You do, but it's like, what else is there?
Yeah.
You're in a modified version of the military. You're going to do whatever you're told.
Modified version of military.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's way watered down. I'm not saying it's even close to that, but I'm just saying that's how it's ran. So you just listen to the person that's telling you to do it.
It's not like there's like 10 different styles of training at the college level. There's one way.
Yeah.
It's weightlifting. That's what everybody does. So there's not like other methods. Like there's not like a team that's doing like ground flow only, like just Ido Portal stuff.
Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
just speed. It's like
Dude,
it's pretty much
I
an
thought it was
Olympic
fucking
lifting.
fascinating.
It's an Olympic lifting,
Yeah.
powerlifting.
Bam was out there doing that shit. I'm like, bro, I like this guy.
And that's
You know
implemented in
that
some of
other
the
guy,
mobility stuff. But
Kahava Fitness. Remember that? Big old fucking Nordic guy. Beautiful. Crawling around and shit. I'm like, this dude looks good. Kahava Fitness, but you ought to see him.
So when
And,
you guys think about GOATA, who do you think about like, oh, that guy is, besides maybe yourself, but like an athlete out there, like, oh, that guy
we
is
got
a
all
frickin' Goda.
in the institute. We got all historical models or historical representations of that, which is MJ, Simone Biles, Ed Reed, Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson. Most of them were slightly pigeon-toed.
Randy Moss,
James Zaharias, Mickey Wright, Gary Player in golf, the young Bo Jackson, the young Kobe. A lot of these guys were decoded when this fitness shit started to show up.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Kareem was a Goda.
young
Hakeem Olajuwon was a Goda.
Clyde Drexler, Stockton.
Just pick a sport and it'll come to me.
Yeah.
Baseball.
A lot of baseball.
Pete Rose
Old
played till
baseball.
he was 42. Ichiro played till he was 44. They all had straight feet, inside ankle mile high, bows and corn. It's right there for you to look at in the historical record.
Yeah.
The video record on YouTube. It's like this kid's a Goda. He's a Goda. Now when we see it in an 18-year-old kid or a 16-year-old kid or a John Morant or a Trey Young in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell. Boy, Donovan's fucking high level.
Very.
We know they're playing with an advantage in the movement math. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's like 6'3" or 6'4". Right. And boy, when he gets off the ground, it looks like MJ. Yeah. Fucking, how's he playing? He's playing 7 foot. That's what you guys are going to do. Like, if we get y'all to like go to 1, go to 2, not go to 10, just a little bit of go to.
Yeah.
You're going to play bigger than your size. You might be 300, but the dude plays like he's 400 pounds with arms that go forever. You know, yeah. I don't know, he's always at the right place at the right time. They won't know why. They'll just say, "You see this contract right here? We want you to be here for 7 more years."
Yeah,
and you'll be like,
"We're gonna hang on to you."
Hold on,
that's an important chess piece.
Is this the right number? Yeah. All right. Yeah. We all gonna do well? Yeah. Okay, sign that motherfucker.
We always tell I tell these guys, every coach would take the athlete that can move better over the athlete that's stronger or that's,
that's what
stronger
doesn't make
in the weight
sense.
room.
That's what doesn't
They're
make
always
any
like,
sense.
give me the guy who can move. I want someone with good movement, especially on the O-line. I heard that all the time.
Then why do
they want someone that can move well, they can pull, they can set, they can.
Why do you think they give us so much resistance?
It's just all they ever knew.
It's like you can do that with everything. It's just like the other side of it. It's like black and white. They don't know. Yeah, they never experienced it until you experience it. Or have some sort of breakthrough, like you won't know. Like that, I mean, that's ultimately comes up to just spreading the word. I don't know. That's crazy, man.
I don't know, Trey. I mean, we just looked at your femurs and your tibia relationship, and you got work to do. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really good.
I mean, it's got to be hard to be looking in the mirror and say, shit, that could hurt me.
I'd rather be doing that than fucking cleaning. I'll tell you that right now. If I'm going to spend my time working out in some sort of fashion, I'm going to do what makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I know how to work hard, but I also know how to.
That's the beauty of Goda. You give me that same 4 hours a day that an Ironman triathlete does. Yeah. You an Ironman triathlete? How many hours a day you got work to do? 4 hours a day. Give me 4 hours a day for 1 year. I'll make you a super Goda. You might have to skip this year, but next year, the fucking competition is going to bow down to you. They're going to think you a god.
Right. It's all about feeling good.
Yeah, it's all about
feeling
It feels good to feel good.
It does.
And the beauty of it is we use the slow motion video to show you. It's like now we're not even telling you some bullshit. Like they will say, hey, there's a study in 1997. They had 100 people in the population. There were 14-year-old kids that tore their hamstring. They did this strength and conditioning routine. They all got 30% stronger. And you're like, oh, well, I want to be 30% stronger.
Yeah.
It's Petri dish shit. I say, bro, you got to go into the fucking woods and look at what these indigenous people are doing. That's the way you create a super athlete. They didn't do that. They didn't even think about doing it. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, like these guys would come around, like kind of like Bam did, and he's like, I'm gonna do this primal shit. And I'm like, you ain't even watching video on fucking indigenous people. How you gonna do primal shit? I don't even know what the primal shit's doing.
Yeah.
Why? Why is the Kaburo tribe from Amazon? He's a bad motherfucker. He likes the Tanzanian guys, the Hadzas. Yeah. But you got
There's a lot.
Fall in love with a tribe. One of these indigenous tribes from around the world. because all they doing is uploading more documentaries. It's really great.
Yeah,
like
New Atlantic on YouTube has a lot.
09 and 010, the
Yanomami,
New Atlantic,
the
BBC had one or two things, and then
the Karubo,
and
then there's tribes in Papua New Guinea. There's a lot. Jimmy Nelson's work is phenomenal. He's got a couple books out. He's documenting them and cataloging everything. So that's where you got to look, man. Because it's right. That's where that's the blueprint in nature, how the human body should move in its natural setting. When it's not being decoded by chairs and by shoes and by weird, wacky circus training. When it's not doing those things because now it doesn't have to hunt, right? You're outside of the food chain essentially. You don't have to hunt. So you're just kind of hanging around. What am I doing? And now you got this time to do fucking kettlebell swings and Olympic lifts. And in reality, the Hods will wake up and we don't have time for kettlebell swings and Olympic lifts. We got to go fucking eat. Well, how do we eat? Well, walk, run, throw, swing, strike. That's what we have to do. We have to go out. We have to go forward. We have to go attack. We are the predator. We are the apex predator.
We're the apex.
We're fucking in drive gear. You ain't going backwards. Yeah. And even the fucker that you're trying to chase, he kicks into his drive gear. It's fight or flight. Yeah, it's all go.
You watch Jurassic Park 1, and they talk the velociraptors started being able to think in a hive, and they would fool the humans, right? Well, that's what the humans are. We're just the velociraptors of you're fucking fool.
Hell
you.
Yeah.
It don't matter if you're a fucking big old tiger or a lion. You're going to get fooled.
Right.
Then you're going to fucking run after us, and you're going to fucking fall into a pit with spikes in it because you don't have a fucking brain that's huge like ours.
Right. But you watch them move, that's that strength. Like we were talking about, you got to change that definition of the word strength. How we view that word. Yeah. It used to be viewed in, what's your bench, bro? What's your squat, bro? Do you even clean? No, it should be like, are you inside ankle bone high? What do your columns look like, bro? Bro, what's with them columns?
Looking back.
Bro, why them ankle bones so low,
looking
bro?
back.
Bro, your hips are 10 degrees in the front, bro. Shit.
Yeah, but
just you got to change it. You got to change it.
You got to be like, my kneecaps don't point straight. Not even
because you got to see it in the gym too. That's how those guys are. Hey, get your feet straight.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You serious?
I don't know.
Ricky's gonna start carrying a protractor around.
Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Einstein said a lot of these inventions come from intuition. So I got to thinking about that. How did I undiscover the mathematics of GOAT? Because really, Coach Ricky and Coach Gary, they really deserve the credit for y'all specifically. I just came up with the math and help people walk better, endurance athletes run better, and basically everybody's pain-free in my camp. But to train a super athlete inside the math, I didn't really know how to do that because I didn't care. I'm like, dude, I'm playing golf 4 days a week. I don't want to know how to learn Vertimax or resistance band or sled. I mean, that's the furthest thing I want to think about.
Yeah.
But I could tell you there were some things that were in my head that helped me. So Pete Egosky used to talk about the late crawling super baby. And I'd be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So what? He'd be like, because they functional. I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Functional. Well, they functional. It's the worst fucking word known to man. And any word that ends in TION, just throw it away. Fucking take some toilet paper, wipe it on, and throw it down. Let it go down with the shit. Mm-hmm. So after a while, he would be like, oh, the ball, all the joints get functional because you're crawling late. And I was like, okay, but it's stuck. It was up here. And then he would talk about indigenous people. See, this is really Pete's work, I always say, right?
You finished it.
Noel Perez, too. Perez studied indigenous people. So Pete didn't finish his work, is what I like to say, because he had the columns. He called them load-bearing joints. And his functional is what we call inside ankle bone high suppleness, but he had no reference to inside ankle bone high. He had no reference to the bow in the corner. He didn't know why. He didn't even have a squat in his assessment. And if you learn from somebody and they say this is the way to do it, well, that puts a blind spot in your space. And then it wasn't until like 2010, Coach Bam and a few people out there doing some squats and shit, and And I was studying Gray Cook, and I jumped on over to Kelly Starrett. He did this. YouTube was 05, but Kelly jumped in like 09, 010. And his first video was like, and he just got a knee surgery, by the way. He ain't fucking reverse move or terrible. Kelly's doing this fucking test called the 5-minute grok squat. And look, Ike, me and you can't do it, right? I think Ross can get down there pretty good, but and I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. But I said, I've seen that before in the indigenous videos. They're in that grok squat. So I'm like, okay, all right. So, man, I called him up. I said, dude, I want to come fucking, what I do is I do this thing. I want to hire you to be my mentor on your work. And they say, okay, how much is it? It's $300. Okay, so I hire them to be my mentor on their work. They never ever asked me, well, Coach Gill, can I pay you to learn your work? Nobody ever said that. It's really fucking crazy. Like, I would pay people for them on their work.
Right.
And nobody ever said, well, can I pay you to
teach me
be
your
my
stuff?
mentor?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking insane out there, I'm telling you. So Kelly said, oh, you with the Egoscue method, bro? I'll give you professional courtesy. And this is why we can't hate these people. Because for somebody to say, I'm going to give you professional courtesy, that means they respected the fact that you were in the industry and that you put some time into But, man, when I got there, it was a fucking bloodbath. He was doing hollow rock, triple extension. I'm looking at this from an athlete's point of view, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Yeah. What is this? Who came up with this? Stuart McGill. Stuart fucking McGill. And I'm like, oh, God, Stuart McGill. This guy needs to be slapped. He wears that mustache, and he really needs one over across the chest because he put so many people on the wrong mat.
Right.
So that was pretty sad. But Kelly, the grok squat that he did in 2010 in YouTube, and I looked at that shape, that math, and I saw some magic in it. And I didn't know why. So he put me on the ground guys. He put me on Animal Flow and Move It Naturally and those guys, and they were all doing their grok squat. And I didn't understand the math in 10, but I knew there was something to it. I know Pete missed it. And then I found Noel Perez's work, and I was like, oh, back chain dominant. I was like, this is the shit, back chain dominant. Because I could see Michael Jordan in my mind's eye, and I could see the indigenous people, so I started to put it all together like that. And then 2011, when everything went fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because I was like, I can see it. Now, I didn't know how to coach it, so we created singularity drills, walking the line. Inside ankle bone high, walking mile after mile after mile until I started to feel my hip open and close with off the inside. It almost feels like you're surfing an edge when you get real good at it. Yeah. And then the rest is history. And then Gary and Ricky and all those guys made it much better. But yeah, the original fundamentals, the pre-movements, the bow in the corner and the retrace, and the inside ankle bone high resting postures, I just assumed that it was understood by default. But Ricky really brought that to the forefront. He's like, we really got to talk about that more. I'm like, why? Yeah. Because that's important.
Because people are sitting in chairs, Gilly. People are sitting in chairs all day long. Like, that's why, Gilly.
If you can sleep like this and you move like this, you pretty much. Gary says something. He says, look, I don't even believe this because I think you can have the pre-movements and still walk like shit. But Gary says, have you ever seen somebody that had gyros perfect? I'm like, back chain dominant, inside ankle bone high suppleness. I'm like, and passed all the tests at level 10, like Go to Joe does and Coach Man, and walk like shit. I'm like, no, but I know there's somebody out there that can. Because I know there's a lot of yogis that can pass the testing, but when they move, they look like shit. They got big bunions on their feet, and yeah, they're laughing over there. Yeah. They walk like shit because they got wearing flip flops and shit. But boy, that yoga keeps them kind of tuned up and all that.
What is the test to be a go to 10? Is there a ton of stuff that you have to do?
Yeah. First of all, the test that we give y'all, that's level 1. Then what I do is I put like a cones out and little hurdles, and I'll make you jump over shit, and I just basically be a little kid. And then I'll take the video and slow it down and see where the hiccups are. You know how I just saw your hiccup, Trey?
In the mirror?
Yeah. And I'm like, what's the right hip doing? I mean, the left hip doing? It's not even firing.
Right.
It's not even there.
And you see it on slow-mo and then just do it.
And then I'm saying, oh, there's the movement error right there. Okay, now let's go back to the assessment testing and see where the hiccup is. And then I say, well, why is he missing on this hurdle? Or why is he missing on this tumble? Or why is he missing trying to do a vertical leap? And then I'll try to break it all down.
So how many go to 10s are there?
Not many.
How many?
Donald Clay Jr. had it at a little bit. Big Donald.
Like Go to Joe, that.
Go to Joe. But Go to Joe, actually, we gave him the moniker of Go to 10. But really, he's slightly bow-legged. So he wouldn't really. Like if we really got down to, hey, he was slightly bow-legged, that's a point off.
How so?
Because it's structurally, he's off. Okay. Like he should have femur above the tibia.
So if you guys went to Africa and checked it out, they are all Go to 10.
Yeah, it looks like it to me. It's like, well, where's all the fucked up people?
Yeah.
And it's like none.
Yeah.
Ricky, talk to him about the Haas.
You should go out there.
Yeah, no, there's more and more people going out there too, which is cool. And the documentaries are nice and they're on YouTube and they're right there for you to be able to watch and go in slow motion. And there's the primos. Feet straight, inside ankle bones high, back chain dominant inside the columns. And they all live on the ground.
They all live.
So they haven't lost any of that suppleness. And then you watch them walk in slow motion. And we watched a little bit of that today, or was it yesterday? I can't remember, but there it is. Bow, corner, heel away. Bow, corner, heel away. Bow, corner, heel away. They're all they're really wearing for shoes are like a very, very thin sandal, homemade sandal.
Yeah, if you watch the ones.
Some of them in the Amazon are
Atlantic
barefoot.
And a lot of that stuff that came
truly
out
barefoot.
8, 9, 10,
The
11.
Yanomami are truly barefoot.
Those documentaries were uploaded 30 years later. Like these fucking people it was in the 60s and 70s when they went out into the.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of old footage too.
And then Ricky studied some of these knucklehead with the doctor alphabet soup behind them that says everybody can walk different. What do y'all call that?
I don't know. I mean,
Dr. Spina says everybody.
It's whatever goes.
Yeah, whatever goes.
Like inside ankle bone low is cool as long as you're strong there.
Yeah.
But it's like if somebody's inside ankle bone low and they've been walking 10,000 reps a day, wouldn't that be technically strengthening it?
Sure.
So then how does Kevin Durant tear his Achilles? If he's walking inside ankle bone low, he's running inside ankle bone low,
he's
jumping inside ankle bone low, shooting, he should be strengthening it. And how do you just put your foot back and tear it? You can't strengthen inside ankle bone low. You can't. It's just string cheese.
It's just string cheese.
Until it explodes.
And then when you see it not happen in indigenous communities, you see that's the thing with me. Some of these doctors will tell me, everybody can walk different. I'm like, every fucking flock of every animal on planet Earth is identical. Yeah. All the birds are flying all the geese are fucking the
big cats.
Yeah, the big cats do something I think's fucking amazing.
Primates.
So the way I look at it is energy. So convergence, divergence. When you see that big cat put a paw down, and then you see a corner, there's this big fucking scat bone that just jumps out. It looks like a fucking ping pong. It just pow, 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 and that thing jumps out.
Yeah,
it's violent. Bow, pow. It comes out, and you see the baby cubs, the mama cub, and the lion all doing the exact same thing. You see all the penguins doing the exact same thing. You see all the indigenous tribes, the exact same bow corner, and then you see Western society. And this motherfucker's walking around bowling. This one's got splayed feet. This one looks like this. It's like nobody looks the same.
Yeah. You guys are passionate, man.
This guy's got 1 foot forward, 1 foot over there. And I'm like, this is a bloodbath. Because I was there.
Yeah.
With the back pain and the hip. I had femoral acetabulum impingement. I had double rotator cuff impingement. I had a surgery called turbinate burning surgery. So they went into my nose and they burnt out my turbinates because I couldn't fucking breathe. It was like Gary's over there fucking laughing. And then 6 weeks later, I couldn't breathe.
It's funny now. Not so funny.
Dude, I went into the fucking doctor's office. I said, I can't fucking breathe. He looked up. He said the turbinates grew back.
Oh, no shit.
Like, I thought you said you was going to burn them out.
I'm not going to lie, boys. I need to get up. Let's get Ross or Justin on here because I need to stand.
Hey, who's Ross?
Someone else get
Josh,
on here.
You want to jump in?
Thank you.
Josh, you want to jump in? apologize. But I got a million stories, bro. But it was like it was.
That's some funny shit.
It was a line. So, but look, let me finish this story. So
we stuck big. Just keep talking.
So bro, right about the same time.
Just keep going.
All right.
What's that?
Y'all find this shit funny, but it wasn't.
Just
funny.
keep the camera on. Who's ever talking?
So
hey, you just coded up right there, though.
Right about the same time.
You coded up, bud.
I got a letter from the insurance company, Rick. It said, Jose Bosch, your surgery was unneeded, unnecessary.
Oh.
It said it's categorized as cosmetic. And I'm like, I got the big hook nose, the same hook nose I have been having since I was born.
They thought you were trying to.
Yeah, and I sent them pictures of my nose before and after surgery, and they denied the claim.
Wow.
So I go back to the
They weren't
doctor.
trusting their eyes.
I said, "Nah, I'm fucked. I can't breathe," and they want to charge me $15,000 for this surgery. And he's like, well, but and you still owe me money. You owe me the deductible. I'm like, Brian, paying none of y'all. Fuck y'all. So they sued me. So I sued them back, and I got the proceedings at GLS. So I just sued them back, and then finally they just gave up. But yeah, it was. Then I met Pete about 2 years later. He put my head. I used to have this forward head tilt. He put my head over the column. Sinuses went away. I ain't had no problems in 23 years. The sinus cavities drain on the gravity line. So if you got straight feet, back chain dominant, good posture, you can
see how it's all integrated.
Yeah,
it's all.
Who's jumping in?
It's all one big system.
Where's Justin?
Russian dolls of systems.
Justin said, "I don't want no part of this shit."
And you know, a duck doesn't really have duck feet.
A duck doesn't really have duck feet. But it was a bloodbath there for me for a while. It was really a struggle. I remember one day I started
cut and edit.
I started putting the pieces together.
Cut and edit.
I would put my shoes down on the kitchen table. I remember this. It was like 2011, 12. I saw the singularity, and I put my shoes down, and my right shoe dipped low. And I'm like, what the fuck is my right shoe dipping low for? And so I put my shoes back level, and I take my hands off, and the right one will go down. And I still got a couple pairs. And I'm like, I didn't understand the pivot point. I could see the energy wave, but I didn't understand where the pivot point was. And so I really owe a little bit to everybody. The ground guys helped me realize that there was a pivot point at the kneecap and the strong side of the hands. And then the running coaches like Dr. Romanoff made me realize that, that the pivot point needed to change. People like Kelly Starrett and Petey Goskin, they made me realize that there was fundamentals to everything. It was a little bit of everything, really. And then the hurricanes, these fucking hurricanes come up here every year. These singularities and one day I just saw somebody running. I'm like, it sure looks like a fucking hurricane. I wonder if it is.
Hurricane hips.
I wonder if it is. Yeah.
It is. It is.
It is. And then I started studying the singularity stuff, and it started, and it was, I've been studying a little bit of the singularity, Fibonacci for a while, but this shit's been around for like 400 years.
Oh, nobody created anything here.
Yeah.
Nobody created anything here.
It's like, man, they all had it. Fibonacci had it.
We're the medium to show it to you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. The middlemen to deliver the message. Show the video. Roll the tape.
All the greats had it. But, I really feel sorry for you guys, especially the guys that y'all got, I think Trey's got a big scar on his knee, and a few of you guys. Because a lot of that shit could have been avoided. I mean, really could have. If you had a non-contact catastrophic and you're scratching your head, you woda. Because we really have never seen a GOATA in slow motion video tear their shit. And that gives you a belief system. So in 11, when I started to believe in it, because I believed in the slow motion, I just said, I'm coaching to this, man. And all these other motherfucking knuckleheads don't know what they're doing. I would coach to that. And it worked out. I mean, I got to tell you, if it did, I think Salt, the guy that created penicillin, somebody had to take that shit first, huh?
Yeah.
Was it him?
The first round was not good.
It wasn't.
No. Some people died, I think.
No
or not
shit.
penicillin, but the polio vaccine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, penicillin, not so much, but antibiotics take the toll on the whole microbiome and your gut, the health of your gut. So it like compromises your. There's a trade off.
Yeah. I got to tell you, Josh, I was already wrecked, so I was like, fuck it.
Oh yeah.
I'm walking inside ankle bone high. I don't give a fuck. This is the way MJ does it. I'm doing it. Nah, it worked out for
What's
me.
it
right?
hurt? Yeah, what's it hurt
worked
to try?
out for me.
What's it hurt to try?
And I was like, hey, bro, I ain't got no bow. Because I really look a little bit like Justin and Trey. I had a wide stance for so long. If you have a wide stance for like a decade and you bring it in, your kneecaps are always pointing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been sitting in this fucking wide stance for so long. So, you got to reorganize the upper and lower leg, and then you got to reorganize those 3 arches in your foot. And he knows more about the cuboid technology than I do. But in the end, every time you fix something, everything else is changing.
Yeah.
All the way up to the top. But I mean, I just think about all the poor kids that had all these beautiful genetics that could have made $100 million and a couple of non-contracts, put them on the street. Maybe they killed themselves because I know I was right there. When all they needed was a go-to coach to say, you got to fight for your own body. You got to fight for your own joint capsule security. You got to look at the slow motion video like a hawk and say, these are my babies, these joints. If you have a fucking kid, he's got 3 of them. I got 1, and I raised another one. Ike's got 1 and 1 on the way. Ike, if you got your kid, you fucking would go to kill for your kid. You know what I'm saying? That's how you need to be for your joints, Ross. You need to be like, fuck this. These are my joints. I'll go to war. You want to degenerate my hip for this stupid inside ankle bone low backstep shit that some knucklehead created 30 years ago? Because you had success for 2 years. That's how it happens. Mm-hmm. One guy, and it's usually a GOATA. One GOATA has it in his mind. Because Michael Jordan didn't know he was a GOATA. Simone Biles don't know she's a GOATA. Ed Reed didn't know he was a GOATA. I talked to him at the TPC Avondale about a year ago. I said, dude, you got to come to the GOATA gym. It's all based on you. He looked at me. He's like, what you talking about? And Ed Reed, he's like 5'9", 5'10". And I'm like,
bro, you're brilliant.
You got to come talk to these people, bro. And then he said, I always used to talk about people about their feet. He said, I like you, coach. I'm like, okay.
All right.
But come talk to the kids, bro. And he never did. But
dang, man.
But usually a GOATA that comes up with some bullshit.
He's the best.
Then the other thing that happens is it's an academic that's so articulate that has 9-syllable words that end in TION and ISM, and they string the words together so beautiful that it hypnotizes the average person. And somebody like Justin, who's the fucking genetic freak, would listen to this dumbass. It's like, dude, you can't even fucking play ping pong. And you're going to tell me how to work out. You're going to tell me how to run. And somehow y'all start listening. I don't know how that happens.
Well, you have to.
But I know MJ used to say, bro.
You have to. It's a position of.
Randy Moss used to say, no matter what you do in this weight room, you still can't catch me.
Yeah.
That's like Randy Moss.
Well, I don't know what
that'd be nice to be Randy Moss genetics.
But a NASM certification is like a $700, fee. You get a little textbook and you take a multiple choice test. It was mostly stuff that I already knew from being in strength and conditioning programs in college and in a high school program that was pretty comparable. And I just learned on the fly.
Right all this out. Don't worry.
Coach Gill's in a crazy motherfucker. I ain't getting this shit. Those certs are embarrassing. They really are. Think about our cert. You got to fucking watch video for 12 weeks before you even show up the lab weekend. Then they show up the lab weekend. It's like, this is way more than I ever thought. And then they got to go back and recode some people. Because you got to actually see a recode happen in real time. Because it's kind of like playing the game.
How long is that time?
It depends on your commitment and how long you've been fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah. Nah, you guys are babies, right? Y'all in your mid-20s. Y'all can fix this in 2 years, easy. And then you get a 6-year career, and you out of there with enough millions to be like, I'm good, right? Open up a few small businesses, enjoy your life, donate to charity, work with the kids. But yeah, I mean, I'm on my 23rd year, and I can't do a grok squat.
But still no surgery.
But
I'm
not even close. I'm not even close to having
but you're
surgery.
working towards the go to side.
Yeah,
By doing that, you're putting off
when I was
the
in pain,
surgeries and the chronic pain.
I can tell
That's
you
the
this.
point. You're working towards it.
I can tell you this. There's wisdom in the sleep pattern, and this is what I mean. When I was sleeping in my early 20s, when I was having a lot of back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, what else? I had sinus problems. The sleep would talk to me. Like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, my fucking back's killing me. Oh, my knee's killing me. Or my shoulders are hurting.
Yeah.
Then I'd flip to the other side and I'd wake up and then in the morning it'd be like, oh, I can't even move.
I remember those.
The sleep tells you a lot of how decoded you are. Because now here I am, a 55-year-old guy, and I got 3 degenerative discs, which means I got no cartilage at 3 levels of my lumbar spine. And I wake up in the morning, I don't even, nothing talks to me. Like there's no screaming voice that says, your hip is inflamed, your knee's inflamed. It's all gone. It's just a little arthritis when it gets cold, and if I try to jump off plyo boxes and run too fast, it hurts. Because there's no cushioning, right? It's like having a car with CV joints that are fucking busted. Yeah. But I mean, but now you can use that intelligence, Justin, to heal yourself. You can be like, oh, yeah, this knee that's hurting, that means I got to get to work. Ricky, slow it down for me, bro.
Right.
Let me see it. Where can I put the most amount of time to fix this specific? Because you can go and fix. I'm believing the 80-20 rule. I don't know if you ever heard of the Pareto principle, but Dr. Pareto was an algorithmic mathematical genius, and he realized that 80% of all results were by 20% of the 20% of the inputs. So even when you guys are watching film and all, you can watch film for an hour, but it was only really the 8 minutes where you got the true gold, and then you brought that to the field. Or you can go out and create a workout regimen, but it could be an hour long, but it's really only 18 minutes. That really made the difference. So, and that's kind of like the way my mind thinks. It's like, hey man, where's the 2080 here? And that's kind of like what created GOATA too. So where's the 2080? So if you got a problem with your left knee or something, then we got a 2080 that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to fix his bow on his left side. Because that's where you got injured. He had somebody crash into his left leg. So that area looks like it kind of goes dead. You see that with somebody has an injury.
Well, yeah, look at
and
Trey.
then on the rehab process, they never get back to inside ankle bone high. So they're just stuck on the other side of the foot.
They can't. I hate to use the word incompetent because they never really were trained in the technology that we use. It's really all brand new. But it's not only the wrong math. They don't even train them slow motion video because we got all those physical therapists now that are certified. They're like, Coach Gill, they don't even teach us slow motion video in college.
Yeah.
I'm like, cadaver science then, right? There it is. There's a femur. Okay. Oh, that's flexion. Oh, that's extension. Okay, that's it. That's how we should work out, right? Dead person doing this.
You hear all this stuff about, smart devices moving into schools and stuff. You'd think that what better place in like the taught learning environment than the college, like kinesiology or biomechanics. Why aren't those people using iPads to like look at stuff in slow-mo?
I don't know.
Are they only doing it maybe in side view instead of?
I got to tell you, the
maybe
golf
it'll change when the.
We talk about skill sets and how I had the intuition. Well, part of having that was being a golfer and being an early adopter to the V1 golf piece on a PC back in the late '90s. We just took to it like fish to water. So I was used to watching slow motion video. I thought it was simple. Then when the iPad came out and I was able to cut the amount of time I needed. Think about how hard it was for me to get indigenous video before 2010. The iPad wasn't available until 2010. Neither was the Android tab. I would be on my PC and I'd watch, and YouTube came out in 2005. So there was this 5-year window where I was kind of fucking lost. Because it was like, well, I could see it, but I didn't have no way to record it, like easy. Yeah. So I'd have to have this supercomputer, and I'd have to have this record program, then I'd have to record it, and one little thing would go wrong, and if the internet blipped or something, I had to start all over. It was just a nightmare, and I'm just so lazy. Like, it would take hours and hours and hours to get good raw video. And then one day when the iPad came out and it had that record button, and I hit it, put it up against the TV or the monitor, all of a sudden I had the Expressway. Yeah.
Nice.
It is so much easier.
Now
with the screen record and all the video.
And Justin's an entrepreneur. So Justin, let me just give you, as a young buck, and you may know this, but it don't hurt for you to listen to another guy who's made it in a few businesses. When you create a new way to do something, you can make money doing that. Yeah. And that's basically what kind of GOAT is. Mm-hmm. Like, hey man, there's a way to train that's way better than everything that's ever been in it. You use an iPad. Because it's fucking the telescope of movement.
Right.
Or the microscope of movement. Or what's the electron microscope? You know what I'm saying? And, nobody was doing it. And then when I talk to people about their incompetence and they hate it, because they got a larger vocabulary than me. I'm like, dude, it doesn't really matter the size of your vocabulary. You don't fucking know how to use an iPad and document slow motion video.
You build a curriculum and then you teach it. Yeah. And then it's best practice wins. That's really all it is. Yeah. There's no gatekeeper or anything. You can make up what you want. You can teach it to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody's free to say, well, I'm going to start moving like this. And if you guys want to listen to me and move like I move, and then we just have the iPad as the reason why you should move that way. Yeah. That's all you're saying. But you built a curriculum.
What's crazy is the other day somebody sent me something on the guy that Gary hates, PF Performance or PJ Performance.
PJ.
And he's doing some kind of a bow. And somebody said, bro, this dude finally woke up. He's doing a bow. Oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, he blocked me 3 years ago. I said, you should at least say, hey, congratulations, you're finally starting to do Goda. You should put that in the comments.
I doubt he's doing a bow. I doubt it. I highly doubt that what that person thought was a bow was a bow.
It was an actual bow.
I see a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, y'all had the experience, right, Ro? Y'all had the experience this weekend. I think I know what a bow is. And then you got a fucking Goda coach like Ricky saying that ain't even close to a bow. Right. Yeah, you got to be here. And what I do is I like to pull on people. Pull the hip back and put the knee and change the flexion of the knee and get their spine position changed. And, that's the way I learned to coach Goda. In the early days, some Chilean guy, he was going to be a coach, but he ended up fucking disappearing. But Pablo, remember Pablo? Yeah. Pablo was like, bro, you got to assess me. I'm like, from Chile? He's like, yeah. I said, all right, send it over. This was like 17. And he sends me over, and I was like, I just want to let you know, Pablo, you're a fucking woda. He's like, he was the first. Everybody else got their feelings hurt. You know what he said? Thank God. I knew something was wrong. So I invited him to the States to hang out at CERT weekend, and he was in Bam's class, and he was great. But dude, he was such a woda. I think he's still a woda. But all he wanted to do was jump, and I'm like, dude, if you become a Goda, the vertical will take care of itself because you're using the energy mathematics. But he couldn't. A lot of people get stuck with the number instead of the movement. And Josh, we're real lucky to have you here. But like, you didn't get stuck. You focused on the movement. I don't know why some of you guys stay and some of you guys give up, but
I didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice. That right knee was killing you.
Right knee.
Well, not so much the knee, but I'd have periodic calf strains, groin pain. Like I had signs. It was like the check-in.
Anybody want to jump in, Rick? Yeah.
It actually amazes me that my knee didn't hurt more than it did sometimes.
Well,
but it was coming.
That's the beauty of the human body.
Yeah.
Think about you could be Woda your whole life and not blow your knee out. You just can be a house mom. Mm-hmm. You just can't do nothing stupid.
Yeah.
That's it. But you guys, I mean, Justin, you and Raw. I mean, y'all fucking on Sunday? Shit's real. You know, the bullets are flying. You make one wrong move, bro, it's over. You can't be Woda. Not at that level.
The wrong moment, it will catch up to you.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
All right, I need to use the restroom.
Yeah, him too.
Okay.
All right, y'all want to wrap this up?
Oh yeah, sure. Or I don't know. Are we tapping somebody?
Josh, we could talk, me and you. I mean, look.
Yeah, you and Josh.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I didn't have a choice though. Seriously, I knew that. I knew that once I saw Goda and understood it, I was like, wow, I found this at the last hour.
At the last hour.
The 11th hour or whatever. The last minute.
That means what, you were getting ready to go for your third knee surgery? It was really hurting?
No, just I knew that that it was going to deteriorate like they told me it would. You know, in athletic training surgeons and orthopedic surgeons, they had told me like, you're probably on pace for a knee replacement when you're 35 or so.
Wow.
And I wasn't feeling it yet, but like in terms of the knee itself, but the reverse movement, the WOTA pattern was definitely.
It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it talks to you.
That
reverse movement pattern talks to you, right? Like your hips hurt, your back hurts, your knee hurts. You're like, yeah, why do I feel so old?
Yeah.
It's tough, dude. It's tough. It's good when you get to the other side, though.
Oh,
you feel like you're on the other side, huh?
It's like it's like one of the hikes up and down, and you crest the ridge, and you're like, oh man, that's fucking awesome. And then you see like you have a new view on the next horizon, like you can keep go, like that's been my experience. You just keep cresting new.
I feel the same way, Josh.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm on my 23rd year, and this morning I was having breakthroughs.
Yeah.
I have a lot of mine in the shower. Do you do the shower thing where you're fidgeting around?
Yes. Sometimes. Well, not if I take a cold shower. Then it's like, you know.
Yeah, you're outside. Yeah. You're outside your head and your body's. It's great.
Yeah.
Ross, you want to jump in here? You got anything to say? You're just kind of managing the fucking. Yeah, but these guys, Ross, from all over the world, they're here hanging out with us. So you don't really get a lot of that, and they don't have to be here. Nobody begs them to be here. They just hang out. And but yeah, we had it was a rough ride there for a while. I can tell you that. You know, having Red Pill come in and drop the big bomb, the big steroid Red Pill bomb helped a lot. Having Bam come down, Bam came down in 18. Then he had his aspirations to be a military guy, and he gave that up, and then came back. So I'm very patient with the company. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for the right people to come. I'm not gonna force nothing. Because if I wait for the right people to come, then I get the right people. Whereas if you go out and try to look for somebody like a recruiter, it blows up in your face every time.
Yeah.
Go to Boyd's house. Josh, say one thing. Because you're really, really eloquent. You got that master's degree and all them fucking credits in. How would you put Goda in like one paragraph or less?
Well, if you want to speak to the science academic crowd, it's empirical observation. I mean, that's one of the hallmarks of science. There's a new instrument of observation introduced into the mix. And
the iPad, the tablet, yeah.
And you recognize a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And you devise a way to communicate, articulate what you see to help, so that other people can understand. And then you develop a process.
Yeah, I got a good question for you.
Yeah.
I try to give Goda to the academics. I called Pete and them at Egoscue and a bunch of people. I was like, bro, I got something y'all got to start doing like tomorrow. And they all rejected it. They rejected it. So I feel like I didn't do that good of a job getting into the world, but I never gave up. You know what I'm saying?
There's no incentive inside that world to pursue the question. You posed the hypothesis, but is there a pharmaceutical company? Is there a tenured professor or a department somewhere that stands to benefit from testing it? Not really. It's kind of an outsider perspective. So like, why, that's why they reject it.
Yeah.
It's not a question of intellectual motives in the intellectual world.
Somebody said to me on IG the other day, we'll wrap this up.
There's a practical side to it.
It looks like everybody's starting to have a couple more drinks.
Let's get some beer.
Somebody was like, they said this, bro, and it was really eloquently written. They said, you expect me to believe that of all the brilliant people in academia and all the knowledge that we have, that you, some fucking knucklehead, right? Some Coach Gill, undiscovered a way to present your body to Mother Earth that you never get, or you're badass for life. I'm like, you expect me to believe that? I'm like, yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
It makes sense. They're rejecting it on its face. But
well, then I say, look, bro, if we got 160 coaches worldwide and about 40,000 athletes, and the only kids that get hurt are the ones that go to the D1 schools and start lifting.
What kind of question is that? If you came to me in 2003 and you told me that in, 7 years, most people would have a touchscreen cell phone in their pocket, I'd be like, you expect me to believe that? That's 3 decades away.
Yeah, I think when the telescope came out, the microscope came out. I think when some of the certain diagnostics, they looked at the phone and the iPad like a toy, where I looked at it as a tool. And I think that's why they disrespected it in the early days. I mean, I don't know. Now it's too late. Now it's got so much momentum, and then we got guys like Ross in here trying to kind of recode and get their body to move like a champ. Then the really bad news comes in. Ross is you got to do a bunch of work. It's like, now I got to get real, right? I got to do the work.
High training volume.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Coach Bam, is there an off button that we got to press? Oh wow.
So what is he even over there?
I don't know. He's probably outside messing around. Just leave it. Just leave it like that. That was fun, dude.
Yeah.
This technology is amazing.